Glorious beginnings, beautiful people. It's Amanda, and today we have our very first guest ever. Some of you might have heard of her from her awesome podcast, The Gab with Brielle. If you haven't, you should definitely go check that out. It will be in the link once we post this podcast episode, and y'all need to tap in with her because she is amazing. Welcome, Queen.
Hey, girl.
I've been really looking forward to having this conversation with you and really getting to know you better.
No, same. We're going to have so much fun.
For sure, for sure. So where do you come from and what inspired you to start the Gab with Brielle podcast? Because that's how I ended up finding your page. I was looking for inspirational podcasts that would inspire me with my own. And yours was one of the number ones that came up. And I just looked at your page and I was like, she's cool. I think that that's something that I would like to do, is to be comfortable to talk to people. So how did you come up with that?
Yeah, totally. So for me, I'm originally from Maryland, so the DMV area, as people call it. But currently I live in Atlanta, Georgia. So, she's a Southern girl. How I came up with the podcast, so I had a very tumultuous year post-grad, my first year. And I first had this vision for myself that I was going to be this corporate girl and I wanted to climb the corporate ladder. And then I got into the corporate ladder and I was like, working for someone else my whole life, I don't know if that's my prerogative anymore. I kind of want to live my life a little more freer than that. And then during this time, I was just going through many things with dating, with post-grad and transitioning into real life, with trying to find balance, with trying to make friends. And I just wanted a space where I could talk about all those things and just have a creative outlet for myself. So about last August, I started the pod and here we are today.
Yes, Queen.
Yeah.
That is a straight up entrepreneur right there. That's the whole mood. Work for who?
Yeah, myself. Period.
Exactly. That's boss energy.
Honestly.
Yes. So you said you were going through like relationship problems and you just kind of got hit with this premonition of, I need to share this.
Yeah.
Some way, somehow I have to be able to express myself and be real comfortable and authentic in it. And I think you're rocking it for sure, because I know you have episodes on friendship and like you have this one episode that you did recently where it was like love sold separately.
Oof.
Yes.
Yikes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then I like the one that you did also on the day that you didn't even feel good. And it's called the 4-step plan to wellness.
Yeah. For sure. I think it's really important, especially in just these like social media times. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't think I'm to the point where, I'm crying on the internet and I'm going to go on live. Like, hey guys, like, I don't think I'm there yet. Transparency wise, girl, I got to dry the tears. But after I finish crying, take a deep breath. I'm like, I just feel like it's really important to be vulnerable on your not so great days and your great days, especially when you're showing up consistently to something. It's just like, I'm not always going to be perky and happy. And I think that's real and a feeling that a lot of people can resonate with,
That's absolutely true. I think what happens is a lot of people that are positive have others in the world that assume that they're positive because they're just happy-go-lucky, but positive people wake up and choose to be positive.
Yeah.
They choose to be happy because it's a choice. And I love that you are living in that authentically. That's so cool.
Yeah, thanks. I think happiness is a choice that you have to keep choosing. And like I said before, like I don't always choose it. Sometimes I'm just like, I'm gonna cry and then treat myself to Chipotle because who's cooking after that? But sometimes you just gotta fake it till you make it, girl. So
Period.
I know that's right.
I know y'all heard that. But no, for real. And I just love all the topics that you discuss on your podcast. And speaking of that, what is your favorite topic to discuss on your podcast?
Okay. I say my favorite topic is just the little nuances of everyday adulting that everyone goes through. So, for example, like I think I said something on one episode about like, I think everyone's lying about doing their dishes every day. Like, some nights you cook and you leave those dishes right in the sink. Like, some of us don't have like perfect sinks, perfect kitchens, perfect homes. Like, some of it is messy and impractical. I also really like talking about just female friendships in general, too. I think that's a big part of any 20 something's woman's life. And I think they're complicated after college because you're moving everywhere. You usually move to a new city. You don't know a lot of people. And the process of making new friends and retaining those friendships is also really fun. And then everyone just seems to love my dumpster fire of a dating life. So, that's out there too. But, it's all ebbs and flows.
Oh, it's not a disaster. It's not a dumpster fire. It's not. For all the young ladies that's listening, because I'm a young lady myself, let me tell you something. Your dating life is not a dumpster fire. I feel like you're gaining experience in what you genuinely want and need from a partner.
And more importantly, what you don't want and what you don't need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big on that.
Emphasis on that. It's like
very much.
It's like sometimes you just sit there in front of a person and you're like, I don't need this. I don't need this. And I definitely don't need you.
Oh, for sure. I've definitely had those moments before. Before I met my wife, it just was
married?
like, I know, yes.
Oh my gosh. Wait, what?
The woman of, I wouldn't even call her the woman of my dreams. She like goes beyond that. It's kind of strange. But if it can happen for me, I know it can happen for other people. Like there's somebody for you. Trust and believe that. I 100% believe that with my everything.
Okay, wait. We have to go back to what was the last person before your wife? What did that teach you? And then now meeting your wife and being with her, like what are the differences? Like I have to know. Like I have to know.
Well, if I'm going to tell you about that, I have to be real honest about my dating history and who I was with because these all lead into me being with her and us finding each other. Okay, so
I'm ready. What's the tea?
I was actually married before. Yes.
Oh,
and it was.
The tea is hot. The tea is hot. What? Okay.
Yes, it was like what you would feel is like a dumpster fire because it was like constant cheating, constant non-communication. It's really bad. And once I broke free of that, I kind of didn't know if I wanted to be in a relationship with anybody else because I was with that person for like almost 5 years. And then
that's a long time.
Yeah. And then the next time I got interested in somebody, it sucked because this person, I feel like, really fell in love with me, but I was not able to give that to that person. I was nowhere near ready for a relationship.
But can we talk about how sometimes, like, it happens a lot. Like, sometimes when someone betrays your trust, like, that really carries over and lingers with you for a while. It doesn't just stop just because you and that person are over. So I definitely get that.
Yeah, correct. Absolutely. And what I had to figure out with myself is like, what do I actually need from myself first? Because I
Powerful.
cannot keep looking outside of myself at these people like, oh, you're going to fix my problem. You're going to fix
Mm.
what I need to fix myself. And that's what it was. I had to fix whatever it was about me with myself. I had to be honest with myself because a lot of people are scared to be honest with themselves. And that's where your freedom lies. So after that, I actually dated somebody for a little bit before I met my wife. And um, this person eventually just ghosted me. But
What?
my wife now,
Mm-hmm.
she hit me up while I was in that relationship because she didn't know I was dating anybody. I hadn't had any pictures or anything anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened is she hit me up and she's like, "You're beautiful. Are you single?" She was like very straight to the point. And I think that caught my attention a little bit, but I told her that I was not single and that I was seeing somebody because I take that seriously. You know, being in the situation that I was before where I was cheated on, I would never want other people to feel that way. And
So, do you believe in, because as a single girl, a lot of my friends are like, you have to have a roster, not because you need multiple people, but so you don't get too stuck or like wrapped on one person. Do you believe in that?
I believe that everybody has something that works for them.
Mm.
I think the biggest thing is really honesty,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
especially when you're dealing with multiple people. If you're not honest with those people about you seeing other people, you're probably doing it wrong. If
Probably a little
you're,
messy.
yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit, just a tad.
But yeah, so me going through that and just really allowing myself to feel through everything. Once the girl ghosted me, I was like, you know what? Well, let me run it back a little bit. When she hit me up and she
Mhm.
said, "Hi, beautiful. Are you single?" She said it way nicer than that. And then this girl ghosted me. And my wife at the time stopped talking to me. She didn't talk to me anymore after that for a while. And then on my birthday in 2019, she said, "You look so beautiful," because I posted a picture and I was like, "It's my birthday."
Mhm.
And we just kind of hit it off from there and started talking. And by January, because my birthday is in December,
Okay.
by January, it was like, okay, we're headed towards something outside of like a friendship.
Mhm.
But I had really sworn to myself, like, you know what? I literally prayed. I was like, God, do not give me another white girl. I'm not being with them ever again.
Uh-huh. How's
Yeah.
that work out for you?
Yeah. Not real.
Mhm.
Not
Mhm.
very well.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm very happy where I'm at. I will say that.
Uh-huh, okay. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
for sure. For
Okay,
sure.
cool, cool, cool. Okay.
But yeah, it was very surprising. I didn't think that I would fall for anybody, but I knew she was different because the way that certain people approach you, when it's your person, they'll approach you a certain way that fits exactly the way that your soul feels like it's supposed to happen.
Mhm.
I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, I think with my heart." You know, my mind is in the way of everything. I think you should let spirit lead you everywhere. And that's
Mhm.
just me because that's how I grew through all my experiences and everything. And I was very afraid to let anybody in.
Yeah.
And it took a while for me to understand that that was how I felt even when I was with the first person that I had married.
Mm-hmm.
And I never truly had that faith or that, like, how do I explain it? I never truly had that faith or that confidence in
Mm-hmm.
myself or the other person. And a lot of stuff shifted for me over the years. I just ended up changing. And right before she messaged me, I promise you, all I did was I said, you know what, God? You know what, ancestors? The
Mm-hmm.
universe? I know you listening to me. Y'all need to fix this right now.
Come down here and help me.
Yes, you see me.
Period.
Don't even play.
Right?
And then it's like, I was like, if you want me to do anything in this life, you better fix this.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is not for me. I do not deserve anything under where my soul sees fit. Because that's what matters to me the most.
Right.
And she just was able to really help me see myself. Like one of the first things out of her mouth during the relationship is, you don't need to fall for me. You need to fall for you. You need to focus on you so that we can grow after that. And I've never heard anybody ever say that to me that wanted to be with me.
Mm.
And it's another thing for somebody to want you and not need you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the type of love that I think a lot of people don't understand.
Yeah.
And that type of love scares people because they're like, oh, well, I need this person. That's not true.
Yeah.
You need yourself.
Yeah.
You want that person. That's a choice,
It's true.
you know? And that's just how we got here. And now we're 2 years in. We just celebrated our 2-year anniversary
Oh,
of marriage.
congratulations.
Yes, yes. I didn't even think that I was going to be one of those girls that was like, oh, I had a wedding and it was nice and it was like a beautiful dress. And I
So,
just like
did you
laugh at
have a
myself.
wedding with a beautiful dress? The
Yes, I
people need to
did.
know.
Yeah, I did.
Wait, okay, so I am in my like romance, Emily Henry, love, love, love. So tell me the proposal. Tell me, the people need to know. The
Oh
proposal. Tell me
my God.
everything. Yes, come on. Details, details.
Honestly,
Honestly.
I think we did it in a very weird way. It's like
Aw,
we just kind of
aw.
looked at each other
Uh-huh.
and I just said, I want to marry you. And she said, okay, yeah, I want to marry you too. And that was kind of like a decision that we made maybe 4 months in.
Mhm.
And we just kind of wrote it out that first year. But by that second year, we're like, okay, pure engagement. And then we got married that second year. And now we're almost together a whole 4 years. So I don't know. I think when you open yourself up to all of the things that you can truly have and enjoy in life, you'll get those things. You know, as women, when we're younger, people push this agenda that you have to have a soulmate and you have to have a partner. And don't get me wrong, like I said, I believe there is a person for everybody out there. But I also believe that sometimes if you have not found that same love within inside of yourself, for yourself, it may not be in your life's journey or path to have that type of partner. Your journey might just be one of self love, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I'm 50-50. Okay, half of me is like, yes, I feel like you definitely need to have a grounding basis of self love so someone else doesn't come in and like consume you and you can't live without them. But I was talking to one of my friends recently, and I also feel like it's one of those things where I feel like no one's ever going to be 110% healed. Like, we're all going to be a little messed up and we're all going to have our insecure moments, and we're all not always going to be 100% like, I am that girl. Me during PMS being like, I am not that girl. But I just feel like
Yes.
you're like, yes, we've all been there. So I just feel like it's 50-50. Like, I'm kind of definitely in this phase where I'm like, I want to be better for myself, but also like realizing that sometimes I feel like we look at ourselves like a project that needs to be fixed, that needs to be prodded. You need to read self-help books, you need to work out, you need to wake up early. Like, we're constantly trying to optimize ourselves. You need to go to therapy so you can heal and be this and realize that. And I kind of got to a point within the last 3 weeks of like, I was listening to the self-help book and I was just like, I am so tired of picking with myself and prodding with myself. And sometimes you just gotta come as you are. Don't get me wrong. I really do think you should have some basis of self-love, but also, like you said, kind of having someone that just takes you as you are. Like, you're not going to be 100% and you're not always a project that needs to be better.
And that's completely the truth right there, y'all. I know
Mm-hmm.
you guys are going to hear this, and this is amazing to me to be able to talk to you and be able to get that same understanding and conversation that I get with Jazz. These are the things that we usually talk with back and forth. And I just think it's beautiful that we get to expand that and get to know women like yourself who are going through these things. And I mean, really pushing ourselves to be better, but at the same time, learning that there's nothing wrong with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just speaking on this, sorry, random thought. I was
You're
just
good.
thinking about that friendship episode
Which one?
because it's the most recent one. I cannot
Oh,
remember what
okay.
else it
Okay. I
says.
think I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about. Go.
It's like the chaos within having friends in your 20s.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And for me and Jazz have been friends since she was 16 and I was 17.
Okay.
And
So, yeah.
I'm now about to turn 27 and she's right behind me. So it's like making new friends after you leave from school
Mm-hmm.
is like,
Hard, girl.
yeah, it's like being
Hard.
lost in a store when you're a little kid and you don't know where your mom is.
Mm-hmm. It's true. And you're
And the conversations are so weird. And then like the people that you've known before since you were a kid, you have trust with those people. And
yeah.
these new people, you don't know anything about them. So, of
Mm-mm.
course, you're just standoffish. You don't want to reach out. You don't really want to branch out.
Right.
And I just want to know, what are some of the unconventional and fun ways that you've found to make new friends?
So for me, okay, well, for the people who don't know, I'm like a very big extrovert and I'm also in my hobbies era. So I say number one, talk to people that you're comfortable with, like your age, wherever you go. And I know my introverts are like, girl, I would never, but you gotta open your mouth. Like, if you like coffees and you go to the same coffee shop, open your mouth, start a conversation. Oh my God, I made a friend by saying, oh my God, hey girl, I love your shoes. What did you get? Like, what did you order? Is anything good? And she was like, oh my God, thanks. Yeah, I ordered this. Do you come all the time? And then we ended up getting lunch. And now she's one of my close friends down here. So you really just gotta explore different hobbies. I also do like cycling, yoga. I'm part of a run club. So different things like that. You have to join activities that you enjoy. And 9 times out of 10, there'll be some people around your age and kind of finding community with them. Like for me, I also go to church. There's plenty of like adult groups within church. I would also say, okay, unconventional. I am a sworn believer of Bumble BFF. Now, dating apps for men, please come over to my channel to see how that's going. However, for
Oh, God.
friends, and you listen to, you're like, girl, I know, I tune in, girl.
Oh my
I
God.
be knowing. But Bumble BFF for making friends has actually been really successful. The girls are always really nice and they'll be like, oh, should we get coffee? Should we do this? Should we go to this farmer's market? Like the girls are super nice. And it's just a great way to make friends. And it's kind of like dating, but like obviously way lower stakes. And it's a great way to meet people who are also intentional. So I would say those are my main two for sure. Oh, and then also connecting with your friends to see if they have friends in your city or wherever you live. Like, oh, do you have another friend that lives in Atlanta? Oh, you do? Can I connect with them? But it's really just about being vocal and receiving. And I think for female friendships, there's less uncertainty with rejection because 9 times out of 10, girls always want to be friends. So it's just like,
Right.
My biggest tip as an extrovert is just like get out your comfort zone and say hello. Like download a friend dating app, network with your friends, like just be open and receptive to new friends and they will come.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bringing that energy.
You got to. I mean, because 9 times out of 10, I always think like, okay, you would want to be friends with someone like you. So it's like, okay, well, if someone came up to me and was like, oh, hey, like, would you want to get coffee or whatever? Like, I'd be open. So 9 times out of 10, someone else would be like that as well.
That's true.
Yeah.
I also like that you said, get with your friends' friends. Link up.
True.
See if that works out. You never know.
It's true. You got to network around.
That's absolutely true. And just to throw this out there, if the group of friends that you have now do not fit into the future that you are building for yourself, it will hinder you and your growth.
Talk
because
about it.
our peers, the people that we are around and talk to on the daily basis, is like, it's really important. The things that you listen to, the people you listen to, the people you surround yourself with. And you can find some really genuine love out here, even with strangers. Like you said, you made a friend and didn't even know you were going to make a friend.
Exactly.
I think that's beautiful, especially when it's women. That's the best friendship you can ask for, is a friendship between two women or multiple women where we can come together and support each other and just show genuine love.
I definitely agree. But on the note of toxic friendships, have you ever had a toxic friend and like what was your experience?
Oh my
Girl,
God.
let's get into it. Okay. Let's get into it. Because I definitely have a story.
Friendships.
Let's talk about it.
I guess I'll talk about it. I mean,
you don't have to give names. You don't have to give names. You just,
I'm not. I will never name drop anybody.
Yeah, I give people pseudonyms.
Give me an example.
For example, say, okay, actually, I'll go first and then I'll give you an example. So I had a friend throughout college. His name was Alex. Call him Alex. And me and Alex were very, very close friends all throughout college, all throughout post grad. And I came to him with the idea that I was going to start this podcast. He was very excited, helped me plan the launch, what it would look like at first, all the things, was very involved. I would brainstorm ideas off of him. When I launched my first episode, he didn't say anything. Keep in mind, we've been building this up for months and months, and he was one of my very close friends. So you think he would reach out when I had a momentous moment. A month goes by, and I don't hear from Alex. And I go, that is so weird because Alex was rooting for me, but now that I'm finally taking off, taking flight, he's nowhere to be found. I hit 1,000 followers on Instagram. And that day, Alex reaches out to me and he's like, 1,000 followers? Wow. Period. Congrats. Period. As if like I did something or like he wasn't happy like for me. And basically that whole situation just showed me like some of your friends, or excuse me, not your friends. They are not your friends if they do that to you, but there'll be people around you. And basically, when I was down and when I was unhappy and I was anxious about starting something new, they're there. They feed off of that energy. But the moment you're off, you're shining, you're vibrant, you're radiant, they are like, oh, congrats. And that's the moment I knew that was a toxic friendship. And I haven't spoken to him since.
Yeah, I wouldn't have spoken to him either.
I know that's right.
No. Well, I'll give you my story.
Okay.
I had a longtime friend from high school. And, I helped her with like her kids. And at the time I was like extremely like, I wouldn't say I was poor, but definitely broke. And I was on government assistance, SNAP, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I would help her out. I would babysit. I would take care of her kids. I'd bathe them, change their diapers. I set up baby showers. I actually missed out on school opportunities because I ended up having to drop out of school when I was 17. And I wanted to go back to school. I was going to go to this GED program. And, it wasn't like a supported idea from the people that I was surrounding myself with, friendship wise. And then, all these years passed. And about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, during the year 2020, I ended up cutting our friendship off because I found out after all this time that she, after all the stuff that I did for her, was talking a lot of shh about me. Okay.
No.
Yeah. I mean, a lot. Like lies, like, for example, yes, lies. Wow. For example, that I owed her money, that she was paying for my food, that I was homeless and living in her house, which is never, ever, ever happened. And it was just the accumulation of stuff. And instead of me responding the way that I might have, when I still was close with her, I responded better. And I'm proud of myself because of it. And I just hit her up and I just said, I know everything, but that's on you. That's pretty much the sum of what I said.
Yeah.
And I told her I cannot have her in my life anymore, her or her kids. But I do love those kids, I pretty much was right there with her while we're raising them, basically,
Yeah.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the godmom of, the two girls that were born. So it was just crazy just going through that experience. And I didn't understand that experience in itself was scarring me so bad. Like I obsessed. Like even when I had cut her off that first year, I would still like talk about her like we're still friends. And then I would remember like that's not where you are anymore. So
Yeah.
it's just like a lot of these friendships, they can affect you mentally and spiritually. You have to be very careful with your friendships. Not to say that you can't develop friendships with new people or stay friends with people that you've been friends with for years, but you have to be very selective about the proximity and what energy you're giving to certain people, because there are friends of mine that have actually stood up to this girl while she was talking about me behind my back. I have other friends there and they're standing up for me. I didn't even know that they would,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And
Mm-hmm.
those friends to this day are like my ride or dies.
Yeah. I think that a lot of times, well, one, I think in both of our situations, like acknowledging that like it's a hard thing to do. Oh, here's our next thing. Choosing yourself. Because I'm sure that like you really, 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 really loved your friend, cared about your friend, and obviously her kids, but there's just a point, I don't know, in adulthood, in life, like you gotta choose yourself. Cause you could have easily just ignored it or forgave her or whatever the case, but you made a decision within yourself that I have to choose me. I gotta go. And like, I feel like that's so powerful.
Yeah, I definitely have learned to choose myself.
Mm-hmm.
And, that applies to not only friendships, it's relationships, it's family members. Like, for instance, I love my family. Like, I wish I could see them all the time. But
Mm-hmm.
guess what? I am so happy that I made the decision to move away. Let me explain a little bit of the reason why I say that.
Uh-huh.
I say this because we as young people, we are so involved with our family that it could and can overshadow what we need to be doing for ourselves. I was comfortable with staying at the house and babysitting the kids instead of going out and educating myself. Nobody should be stuck like that.
No.
And you have to really push yourself out of your comfort zone in order to grow. I,
Yeah.
yeah, I think I only had a jump start at it though, because I had this experience with the two people that raised me
Mm-hmm.
passed away, like my grandma and my mom. And it was all in a span of 2 years.
Mm.
So my grandma went first and then my mom. But through those experiences, I've really learned to be grateful for where I am. And somehow that really woke up what I call the adult brain.
Mm. Mm.
And it started it for me. It was like I woke up out of a sleep that I was in, because, when you're younger, you don't think about, oh, my parents aren't going to be here, or I might not have my family or friends here with me. Like, we don't know what that experience is sometimes, you know? And what I had to do was just figure out how to balance that so that I can get my feet on the ground and get my head straight. Because if I don't do that, I can't help anybody else. I can't help a friend, a family member, a neighbor, a stranger, a homeless person. I can't help anybody.
Yeah.
So I had to really dig deep and look at myself in the mirror and start loving on myself. Like I used to think that I was so bad looking, like, oh, you're too dark skinned, your eyes are too big, your lips are too big, your forehead's too large, like it just was a lot of pressure that I was putting myself under
Yeah.
unnecessarily, and feeling unworthy and feeling unloved and feeling uncared for. So
Mhm.
until I fixed those things about myself, nothing was right.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like a lot of it comes down to your mind and your thoughts. And I always like to say, like, I really, really try on most days to not let my mind and my thoughts consume me. Because once they go in a downhill, it's a downhill. So, really just reining in your thoughts, your emotions. And when you have those negative, honestly, sometimes self debilitating thoughts, because no one knows you like you, and no one knows your darkest thoughts but you, to kind of make that switch and be like, like, for example, my biggest thing is like, what is my biggest thing? Oh, okay. So my biggest thing right now is that I want a new job, but the job market is just awful right now, awful. So it's taking longer than I feel like it should have. So sometimes I have the thoughts like, oh, you'll never get a new job or whatever. Like you will never, because nothing's gonna work out. But it's just like taking that thought and being like, nope, like everything's gonna work out for me. Like everything's working out for me, no matter how it looks at any given point in time. Like you're wrong. Like let's rein it in. So I definitely understand where you're coming from for sure.
Yes.
No,
And I know you just jumped into a little bit more of your experience. So I want to ask you another question.
of course.
So, from your point of view, what are some lessons that you've learned about self care as a woman?
Mm. Okay. Such a good question. Slay, girl.
Slam.
I know that's right. Okay. So I would say, as far as self care goes, number one, sometimes self care is not. Don't get me wrong, because I'm a Taurus, so I am very materialistic. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I love a good bubble bath, love a massage, love a good glass of wine more than the next girl. But sometimes self care comes down to self preservation, and it comes down to Xing people out, that it doesn't feel good in the moment, but in the long run, it's better for you. Um, for example, another thing, like I really am trying to get into my exercise journey. But at the beginning of an exercise journey, like everything hurts. Your joints hurt. It's like, I don't even know really why we're doing this. Everything hurts. But I'm learning to push through and really do things that I love. Also, I feel like self care really comes down to having a one-on-one conversation with yourself. I like to do that through journaling and really just creating a safe space from yourself, away from everybody else. Don't get me wrong, I love my friends. I love the community I built around myself, but sometimes you just need a place to dump all those thoughts that you don't tell anybody else, that you're afraid to honestly even write down, and just giving yourself the space to let that all out. And I think the third thing with self care is just giving yourself grace. Sometimes you're going to want to eat a bag of candy. Sometimes you're going to want to pick up the pint of ice cream. Sometimes you're going to want to do nothing and lay on the couch, and that's your Saturday. And that is okay, long as you don't stay there for too long, but that is okay. Just rest, creating a safe space for yourself and pushing yourself to be better, even if at sometimes that means at the expense of someone else, hopefully not maliciously, but like sometimes someone may get hurt because you cut them out of your life, but like you have to do that for you. So overall, I just think self-care is showing up for yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, and just creating that safe space for yourself.
I agree with everything that you just said. I mean, you hit it right on the nail.
Yeah.
Yes. So this has been extremely fun and eye-opening for me. I was so nervous to message you and some of the other women that I messaged to be on the podcast because I didn't think, oh, my podcast isn't as big as theirs, or, I don't have as many listeners yet. I don't think that they're going to say yes. And honestly, you women really pushed me out of my comfort zone because it's like I've been hit all week with each one of your posts and you're like, do it. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, you got
Go
to.
for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what made me reach out and say, like, you know what? I'm going to do it. We're finally going to set up this podcast episode. We're finally going to release it.
Mm-hmm.
And before I let you go,
okay,
can you share a piece of advice for the women who are out there juggling with a career, relationships, and personal growth?
Oh, an all-in-one. Okay. All right.
You already know I got to save the best for last.
Of course you do. She's a host. She's a talent. Okay. So, fun fact about me, I really like to post affirmations and just little inspirational quotes all over my apartment. But in particular, I have this one wall that's pretty much filled with post-it notes of every time I have a negative thought, I always write a positive thought to counter that notion and I put it on the wall. So I'm looking at the wall. I'm going to pick from that. So I will say my advice is, let me see. Oh, here we go. I got it. The most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any in relationships, in your careers, in your jobs, in your friendships. You have power, you have agency. Don't forget that. Don't relinquish your power. You have the power to change your circumstances from whatever they are to whatever you want. Do not give up your power by thinking, I'm hopeless. I don't know. Like, what can I do about it? You can do everything about it. So the power is with you, girl. You got this. And that's my little tip.
Oh, y'all heard it here on In My Sistars Garden podcast from Gabrielle. Let's go. That was great, honestly. I love this episode so much. I love having you on here, and I am definitely looking forward to collaborating with you some more.
Yes.
And extending this friendship. Like, you're super cool.
Oh my gosh, thanks, girl.
I was so nervous, girl. I was gonna vomit.
Oh my gosh, no, stop. I always feel like so many people like see just any amount of following. Like, it doesn't matter if like 50 people follow you. They're like, oh my God. It's just like, no, like, you're just, I'm just a person. I'm just a human. You're just a person. You're just a human. It's just social media. It's all fake. It's fine. So I definitely have to get you and the bestie on the pod though for an episode. So we'll definitely talk about that.
For sure.
Off the bugs.
Yes. I know she'll be there next time.
Okay.
She has a daughter that's my beautiful godchild,
Mm.
and she is the sweetest thing on earth. So she's probably doing something with her.
Yeah.
But next time, for sure, 100%, she'll be there. I'll be there.
Okay.
And we're really looking forward to seeing where this friendship goes, because we've got some really big plans for In My Sisters Garden and us branching out with these other powerful platforms like your own that are giving information and inspiration to people everywhere.
I know that's right.
Yes, Queen.
So what's yours?
What's my what?
What are you leaving with the people? The people need to
Oh,
know.
okay.
Or what are you leaving with me?
Okay. So what I will leave everybody with is let love lead you everywhere. And I'm not talking about the love that you feel in your mind or in your heart. I'm talking about the love that you feel for yourself. Let that lead you everywhere and really enjoy your life. Don't make things harder than they need to be. Life can be so easy for you. One of the best quotes I ever heard from anybody was my cousin, Steve Bacon, who is a life coach who is dedicated to saving Black and Brown communities. Let me tell you something.
Come on.
If you stressing about money, don't. Money is easy. But those genuine connections that you create with people and network, that is the true currency of this world. You have to be comfortable with yourself and love yourself. Allow yourself to branch out, try different things, meet new people, and live this life the way that you are supposed to be living it. Whether you're with somebody or if you're single, your life is worthy and you can do anything that you absolutely want to do.
I know that's right.
Yes, girl. Every time somebody talks to me, they say I'm a preacher.
And is?
Okay, hallelujah.
Okay, hallelujah.
Oh my God. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Everybody that's listening, make sure you go check out The Gab with Brielle on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and all streaming platforms for podcasts. She is amazing. Go follow her pages. Queen, go ahead and let everybody know how they can find you, and we'll have all the links to all of her social medias in the bio on this episode.
Okay, yeah. She pretty much said it all, but if you want, you can follow me at The Gab with Brielle Pod. We do a lot of fun things over there. And you can also give the podcast a listen, see if it's your thing. We talk about a lot of adulting, dating, friendships, career, all the things. So hop over there, give it a try, see if it's your thing. But yeah, that's all I got.
Thank you so much, beautiful. I'll be talking to you soon.
Yes, thank you. Bye.
Bye. Make sure y'all tap in. We have plenty of episodes coming up with multiple beautiful, talented, knowledgeable, wise, graceful, and awesome people. Y'all stay safe out there. We're sending you lots of love. Don't forget to tap into your light. We're sending you love. And don't forget, every day is a glorious beginning.